Welcome, everyone, to our Fall 2025 launch. Thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy day to attend and listen today. We're truly honored that you're here with us, and it's great to see some familiar faces and friends in the chat as everybody starts to join today as well. Here's our agenda for today. We'll take about 30 minutes for our presentation and then open it up to your questions in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A, and our team will answer them along the way if we can, and then queue them up for our question and answer session at the end as well. We're also recording, of course, the session, and we'll share it out afterwards. A popular question from everybody. Over the past 2 months, we've had the opportunity to spend some quality time with many of you, our peers, our colleagues, and our students. Not only did we hear about the real challenges you are facing every day in health professions education, we also recognized the many promising solutions incorporating smart, sound, and trusted use of technology. As you know, Aquifer is unlike any other platform. Our content and pedagogical approach is continuously created and sustained by a legion of experienced and expert educators like you. Many of you here today are part of this group, drawn from the ranks of your national organizations. Our annual conference, Wellspring, affords our consortium members the opportunity to lay out the challenges facing all of us and to roadmap together with us targeted solutions to meet them head on. This understanding was further amplified for us, though, at the AAMC's annual Learn Serve Lead meeting last week. And in presentations, posters, and informal discussions, everyone seemed to carry these same 4 messages. The first, no surprise, time is becoming ever more scarce. We need fast, efficient, and effective solutions to our challenges. Number 2, students are hyper-focused on test prep now. I think we can all agree it's always been that way to some extent. However, today, the well-intended changes that have been made to the system, combined with everyone's escalating time crunch, have had the unintended consequence of heightening this focus and driving it into the critical clinical years. Thus, we all feel we need better, more holistic assessment solutions. In combination with the core clinical knowledge addressed by our certification exams, we need to balance this with valid and trusted competency-based clinical assessments that are equally as efficient and valued as our beloved multiple choice exams. Given the first 2 challenges, if we don't fix this and fix it soon, we will be graduating and certifying students with limited clinical skills at a time in which they are most critically needed. Not surprisingly, though, the emergence of AI has provided a really promising solution in many ways. That said, we're all aware that it can be fraught with bias, slop, and misinformation when it's not rigorously developed and tested by highly skilled educators and students who are deeply in the loop of development and testing. This is why Aquifer is uniquely poised to take on these challenges. Aquifer is a mission-driven organization of educators collaborating together to ensure the best health professions education solutions for our learners and on behalf of our nation's health. Dr. Amy Wilson-Delfos, the Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education at the Northeast Ohio Medical University and Aquifer's Academic Director for Sciences, states this well, I think.
There's a lot of challenges in medical education now, and they're not necessarily that new. One issue that we've really been struggling with is faculty having the time to teach. So whether you're a basic scientist and you're engaged in, your struggles to get funding and the time that that takes, or you're a clinical faculty member who is constantly pressured to see more patients and be more clinically productive, it can just be very, very hard for faculty to really have the time to teach sometimes in the ways that they would like. And that includes providing students with feedback. We particularly see this as a challenge, I think, in the clinical setting. Faculty want to do right by the students. Faculty want to teach students. But again, it's that balance of all the pressures. that they face. And this honestly is where Aquifer comes in, and I think brings tremendous value, and will bring even more value in the future as Aquifer is able to develop more around use of AI to help provide students with this terrific formative feedback, allowing them to get feedback early in their clinical rotations so that they can really shine on their final evaluations.
So let's dive in and show you more of what our consortium and our team here is up to. First up today is Matt Racki, our CTO, to tell you more about the relevant platform upgrades that we've been working hard on for you. Matt?
Thank you, Leslie. So this academic year, we will be investing in AI-driven learning and modernizing the experience for you, our customers. We're going to be focusing on three major themes for enhancing Aqueduct: platform modernization, curriculum expansion, and AI-driven learning and assessment. So let's start with platform and ecosystem modernization. So first, we rebuilt aquifer.org to shorten the path from I need X to I found it. Here, what you'll notice is the navigation mirrors how you work: courses, knowledge base, assessment support, no guessing at the labels. Search that takes you right to the page first with clear titles and summaries. And then pages you can scan quickly with consistent structure, with obvious actions and fewer clicks. The result: less time hunting, more time teaching, and your learners get to the right resources faster. We also reorganized our resources and tools into a knowledge base, so you can find help fast too, using clear categories that match real tasks. As you can see from the screen: getting started, courses, reporting, accounts and access, support, and articles with consistent step-by-step instructions and screenshots. Search is tuned to tasks, so queries like add a learner or pull a practice smart report land you in the right page first. Net result: fewer clicks, quicker answers, more time teaching. So like the website, the Aqueduct platform you know and love is getting a fresh coat of paint as well. As we're applying the fresh coat of paint, we are also tuning up the engine underneath that drives the Aqueduct platform. This will streamline navigation and UI, plus include little workflow improvements and performance improvements along the way. The net result is a modern, mobile-first experience with the same familiar structure and actions, streamlined for speed. Finding a course, completing work, or pulling a report is seamless on phone and desktop, so faculty and learners move from intent to outcome with less friction and noticeably faster load times. Near and dear to my heart. So now let's talk about data. Aquifer was purpose-built for delivering education, which means getting data out has been hard. The information is there, but it hasn't been structured in a way that makes it easy to export and report on. Every report was built as an ad hoc effort that involved our data engineering team coming up with bespoke reporting solutions. So today we're rewriting the platform from the ground up with data and reporting at the center. Every click, every button, every action is an event. That instrumentation feeds a modern analytics engine, so you can track behavior, build standard reports, and answer program questions without wrestling with the system. So instead of wrestling with dashboards, you get clarity. Standardized, reproducible reports surface what matters: learning trends, program performance, research-ready data, so you can spend more time improving the learning journey for your learners. So a clear example of this is our updated reporting. If you look at the page, we have performance reports that are no longer siloed by course. So with the right permissions, you can see student progress across courses and include calibrate assessments, making remediation sharper. Reports are standardized yet flexible. You can add fields, save your custom views, and it's there for next time. Plus, practice smart reports are coming soon, and program level reports early next year, with guidance to leverage Aquifer for planning. So let's hear from one of our consortium members now on this.
I really love the new dashboard and report feature that Aquifer has really launched. As an educator, it's much easier to see how my students are doing, what they're doing, and where our gaps are. So one of the great ways to use it is in program evaluation. How can I improve on my curriculum and our teaching for our students? And that all comes from looking at the data through the dashboards and the reports. With the formative assessment tools that Aquifer offers, we can look at those practice smart reports and calibrate reports and dashboards and really help them identify an individualized learning plan to take the next step in their learning.
Now I'm going to hand it off to Emily Stewart, our Chief Learning Officer, to talk about curriculum expansion.
Thanks, Matt. All right, with the goal of providing a truly comprehensive curriculum for both our basic sciences and our clinical learning, we're continuing to expand on our cases, our courses, and our assessments. At the start of this academic year, we added OBGYN as a complete course, mapped to our national partners curriculum at APGO, in addition to our very first set of cases in psychiatry. Next academic year, you're going to have the complete psychiatry course with Calibrate and Practice Smart assessments to go with it. At the same time, we're under development for both a surgery course and a preclinical sciences curriculum. As always, our curriculum is being delivered with our brand promise of being written by the national experts in the field, covering the national curriculum, and continuously being updated to be your trusted source of clinical learning, just like Leslie spoke about earlier. Let's now hear from one of our psychiatry editor-in-chief about their course.
The biggest problem that the new psych curriculum will solve for our students is getting them prepared to have an idea of what a patient with a psychiatric disorder looks like. A lot of preclinical curriculum focuses on taking a physical exam or doing a medical history, but very little of it focuses in detail on a psychiatric history, psychiatric symptoms, and having a case that outlines that in vivid detail and allows them to critically think through the differential and treatment options could be very beneficial before they come and actually see these patients live. So this is really important to me in my specific role because we want our students to be prepared and ready to engage clinically as soon as they hit the wards, and also allows for baseline competency across all our sites so that we know that our students are getting about the same experience.
Okay, so with our ever-growing curriculum, we are working to make it even easier for you to be able to navigate Aquifer as a busy educator. Matt highlighted one of the reports earlier, and I wanted to demonstrate for you our newly improved course builder that's been updated so that you can identify and easily assign cases to your students. And even as important, through Practice Smart and Calibrate questions, our students are now identifying their own learning needs. Soon, you're going to have the option of assigning your students student choice cases so they can take these identified learning needs and build them directly into the course builder with you. So you can see that they are driving their own learning and they have a place to put it and move forward with it. So building on our AI-driven feedback for summary statement feature that we launched almost 2 years ago now, we have also now launched our first virtual patient encounters in 2 of the cases this past summer. Our last launch, we saw how these 2 virtual patient encounters currently live in our system. And these encounters have allowed our students to not just practice their communication or questioning skills while interviewing a patient, but also their clinical reasoning skills, because they're having to really think about what is the right next question to ask. To date, we've had really positive feedback from both our students and our educators, and so we aren't stopping there. We're going to be having a rolling release of these encounters throughout our courses starting this winter with a goal of 15 to 20 interactions available to everyone by July. And as we continue to expand on our virtual patient interview, we are looking at our next series of AI-driven experiences that incorporate the preceptor in both the feedback and ultimately in a workplace-based assessment, just like you're providing on a rotation. This is with the goal of advancing a learner's competencies across the platform. What sets us apart in AI is that this is all built with the national educators in our consortium as the voice of the preceptor. Our cases were written this way to start, and our AI enhancements will carry their voice forward, bringing the case to life, just like all of you are doing on the wards with your patients and your learners. Let's hear now from one of our consortium members on this.
I think the focus of Aquifer on actually teaching you how to take care of patients, on actual clinical reasoning, not just memorizing facts, which in today's AI world, you have facts at your fingertips, you have lots of things at your fingertips, but who's going to teach you how to reason and do clinical reasoning? I think that's one of the greatest strengths of Aquifer. And I'm very excited about the new additions that we have coming with virtual patients and with virtual preceptors that really enhance our ability to both teach our students about how to elicit information from patients in a way that's much more dynamic and not just read through what the history should have been had you asked all the questions. And then for the virtual preceptor to teach even deeper clinical reasoning, just like we would in the clinic.
Great. So thank you both to Matt and Emily for the detailed walkthrough of what we're working on right now with our team and our consortium, and also to Amit and our other colleagues in the consortium for their voices today as well. They are truly the ones leading the way together with us. I hope all of you who are here today can see how our solutions are building directly to address the challenges we're all facing today in health professions education. By making the Aquifer experience more intuitive and more efficient, we're really trying to help save you additional time and increase the time that you do put in the platform to make it valuable for you as well. We're supporting the need for strong knowledge assessment. Multiple choice questions are not going away. And everybody wants to know that their healthcare provider has their knowledge base soundly tied to the work that they're doing and their real clinical learning. By doing a lot of our practice smart questions, tying them into our platform, and then tying those calibrate reports to what you're seeing in the system, truly help you understand that your students are in fact gaining the knowledge base that they need. More importantly, though, and really exciting for us, is that we're innovating with all of you to drive more efficient, effective, and individualized competency-based clinical feedback and assessment. And I think this third problem is the one that we're all really working towards right now to ensure we balance this out with the clinical knowledge components that seem to be leading the way, maybe a little too much these days. But lastly, by creating valuable AI solutions that you can trust. I wish I could say I have a magic wand and we could have these solutions built and ready for you tomorrow. People are quite excited about what's coming out. But I can assure you, doing it right is hard. And you really shouldn't trust anyone, us included, who tells you differently. So please, no matter what you're using or developing, continue to dig deep into the what, the why, and the how of every solution you consider. That said, we're confident you'll continue to find that the Aquifer solution meets the highest standard that you set for your program and your students, as Matt began his talk today talking about the trustworthiness of our platform itself. Importantly, though, we're addressing all of these challenges at a holistic and a programmatic level as a complete clinical learning system solution. And that includes the basic sciences that are tied to ensuring that students understand how to use them in their clinical practice when they go out into practice. And so soon we will be crossing all the clinical disciplines and the basic sciences as well. Our curriculum partner level in particular allows you and your faculty and your students to take full advantage of our learning system across all these disciplines, and at a holistic and programmatic level as these features continue to roll out over the course of this and upcoming years.
Aquifer is uniquely valuable, I think, because of the quality and breadth of the product overall. So although I'm a clerkship director thinking about it from the programmatic level, that really all of the core disciplines are represented in Aquifer. And so for the sake of learner experience and cognitive load, it's familiar for students as they move across different rotations. And having it backed by medical educators and really peer reviewed by medical educators, I think is highly unique in the product.
So if you're not already, please do consider elevating your program through becoming a curriculum partner. Not only will this enable you to gain the most value from Aquifer, you'll be supporting your colleagues' work through our nonprofit mission as well. Reach out to our team at subscriptions@aquifer.org if you have questions about your access, and that should be in our chat as well. And if you're excited about what you've heard today, I really encourage you to schedule a curricular consult with one of the members of our team and one of our peer trainers, a few of whom you've seen today in our videos, to ensure that you're taking full advantage of all that Aquifer has to offer you today to your program and to your students. Information about that is coming in the chat as well. And finally, please do look out for our calls for participation that are coming out soon for our new surgery case writers, as well as through your national organizations for a variety of roles as we ramp up our AI-driven, competency-based development work. It's an exciting time for all of us in health professions education, and we would love to have you a part of the development work that we're doing if it excites you as well. So now, I'll turn it over to Katie Hammond, our moderator, to open it up today for your questions.
We had some questions that came in beforehand when you guys registered, so I'll start with some of those. So one of them has to do with kind of that idea of reporting and seeing students in a date range, number of cases, all these pieces. So Matt, if you can talk a little bit more about kind of like how we can now save reports and like show exactly what you're looking for in that piece, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, so we built reporting with those segments in mind, right? So when you look at the reporting screens, you're going to be able to filter by time, by specialty, by what you want to see, and then there's a really easy save option on those reports, and it'll just go to my report section on the reporting page, and you'll be able to pull those up for future reference. So we built it with intuition in mind, and if you have any feedback or want to give any feedback, please do. We love feedback, and that will get passed on to the product team to even make it better.
Thanks so much. I think Emily's going to take this next question about what's changing for psychiatry and what's coming up for that.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for the question, Faith Ann. So we released our first round of cases this past year to our curricular partner programs, and currently we have 6 cases live for psychiatry. The way that we do the writing process is we identify the cases with our consortium mapped to our recommended national curriculum. So in this case, it's the APCO curriculum with our partnership with them. We've identified the cases that would meet at least 80% of their recommended curriculum. And so coming next, by the end of this academic year and the start of next academic year, we'll be releasing the remaining cases that will fulfill that. And so we have, I'm looking on another board right now, but we have 5 cases that will 100% be released by July, with a few more that will roll throughout the fall. So we will have what's considered a comprehensive curriculum with the cases by then. In addition to the cases, when we officially call it a completed course, the OBGYN course, that also will include a Calibrate assessment, a Calibrate formative assessment, and practice smart questions for the students to be able to hone their own learning needs with quizzes.
Awesome. It looks like there's a little bit more about kind of accessing information in the question. So one, we are sending the recording out, as I mentioned at the beginning. So all of you that registered, we'll probably share it more broadly as well, so you'll be able to see all the pieces that we talked about today. In terms of the content specifically for what's out, I do recommend our updated website. So if you go to our website and you go under content, you can click on courses, and then you can click on the psychiatry course. That's kind of that, like, not quite a full course yet, but has those initial set of 6 cases. And so you can go and you can see what's in there and what that looks like, as well as within the actual Aqueduct platform.
Yeah, and the one other piece I would follow that with, Katie, is to say we have had lots of our customers choose to set up a curricular consult to go through this with someone on our consortium who's already actively using the curriculum. So I think it would be a really great resource for you to go ahead and set up a curricular consult, which is really easy. Much easier than most things in life, in that you look at the QR code or you click on the link and it takes you to a website where you just pick your date and time and we show up.
Yeah. The other thing too, I'd like to just add to that as well, those of you who've been with us for a long time as curriculum partners and really been with us through the pandemic and through the development of the coursework that we've put out, especially under Emily's leadership over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, as well as In the past, we really were catching up with our content development, with our Calibrate and our Learn and our Practice Smart question development kind of behind that. Now our teams are developing them all at the same time. And so as you're adopting courses like OBGYN and psychiatry and soon to roll out our surgery and sciences, the assessments themselves, both the Practice Smart, which is the student self-assessment side of things, and the Calibrate, which is more the educator formative side of things, are all coming at the same time. And I think that has a lot to do with what I was talking about previously, and some of our colleagues in the consortium, is that we really are focusing heavily on a programmatic approach to using Aquifer, not only for learning for your students, so you can sort of mix and match across the curriculum partner program, but also make sure that you can do a very similar thing through assessment as well. And I think that ties into what Matt was talking about with the dashboards and the reporting. Our goal at the same time of putting those assessments out is to also ensure that the output in the dashboards and in the reports that you're looking at are easier, faster, and more efficient to get to. So we really are hoping that people can begin to see the real end game for us of having not only a comprehensive solution across disciplines, but also a comprehensive solution across both student self-assessment and programmatic formative assessment as well.
Thank you. We have a question about the data the Practice Smart reports are going to provide. Matt, I don't know if you want to take that one, or Emily, kind of from a holistic perspective.
Yeah, I'm happy to take. So the Practice Smart question, the report is going to provide you cohort level data on the questions your students have completed. Again, this is a safe practice space for our students, and we want to ensure that remains safe. And so once I believe I said it at 5. Once 5 students have completed a question, we will then be able to surface their performance data to you for the cohort. You'll be able to look at both the same type of information you currently receive on Calibrate if you use Calibrate. So it will give you their accuracy and their certainty as a cohort. So, you know, those 5 students, those 20 students are 68% accurate, and give you a certainty rating on a scale of how they've been feeling. It will also give you the breakdown of the other, what we call metadata tags we use. So their clinical discipline, the learning objectives, the teaching points, etc. And so it'll give you a report across the cohort. I hope that answers your question. I'm looking for it now.
Leslie, do you want to just add anything else about the implementation of AI? I know that was a question that came in prior to the webinar, and we did talk a lot about it, but is there anything else you want to add to that conversation?
Sure, absolutely. You know, my passion these days, together with these guys on the call as well. Before I do, I'll make one last comment for what Emily said too. Some of our educators may not yet realize, if you haven't sort of dug into the Practice Smart questions, they now serve essentially as a practice for the Calibrate as well, in terms of how the questions are set up, how the students are going through those, what they get. So I think in many respects too, if you're using Calibrate, we hope everybody is or is going to start doing that. Having your students do the Practice Smart questions begins to help them feel a little more confident, I think, also in how the certainty ratings go and how the questions play in the Calibrate assessment themselves, in addition to being essentially curricularly tied together with the cases and across the disciplines at the same time. But returning back to the AI work, and so I think one of the most exciting things for us about AI, and some of you have heard me say this before, is we were essentially building our platform kind of in preparation for the day in which machine learning and now automated intelligence are coming along. And so we're incredibly excited about the fact that the promise is really here now. A lot of what you've seen us do already with the summary statements is laying the foundation for what we're doing for the rest of the cases as well. And so recognizing that we have student input onto something that we want them to be having input on as if they were with us in clinic or on the wards, presenting a patient, doing a summary statement, taking a history. You all know that the content is there. It's helping the student walk through a patient the way they typically would. That's how we built the content, and your colleagues built the content in a very typical, comfortable way, the way that you would want them to do that in your clerkship, with a good preceptor or a good resident, you know, working with them as well. As the students are doing that, though, we're able to leverage the Aquifer content. So recognize everything we're building this off of is Aquifer content. We're leveraging the content that you know and trust, and we continue to continuously update to essentially be that persona of the patient. We are literally building personas for every single Aquifer patient based on who those patients are and building them out a little bit. It's the case editor who's the person who's always been working on that case, who's doing that work. Then what we're doing on top of that is, as we're seeing student output on this, we are providing them feedback, again, built by teams of people who do this for a living every day, but also built on the published, known pedagogical structures of providing excellent feedback. So our prompts on the back end, for example, again, all internal, but they're no different in many respects than the checklist you might be giving your own faculty during faculty development. I mean, I guess you could really say we're doing a lot of faculty development for our AI right now, much the way that you would be doing the same thing with your own peers and your colleagues. And then lastly, as you would imagine training up your colleagues to do more of a formative but still structured observation on the ward in the clinic, kind of approaching an OSCE level, knowing we have those evaluation rubrics that we would be doing, same thing, faculty development for the Aquifer AI, such that we're using those published rubrics as well. Who's doing it? It's our consortium. So we have an active working group. You saw Amit, one of them today, very dedicated educators who are coming in once a week to work with us, seeing what our team is putting out there, helping us test it, making sure it feels comfortable and right, and then beginning to look at the student outputs and ensure that they are in fact, A, not only doing what we would want them to be doing with learners, but B, testing them with learners themselves and asking them in our student advisor group and others, does this feel right to you? Is this the best way you would wish you were precepted on every patient? And taking that feedback from them and incorporating it as well. We're excited to say the students really like it, but I'm not surprised because we've always known as a hospitalist, we always wish we could be in the room with them, giving them the feedback every moment, and we know we can't. The beautiful thing about Aquifer now is we're going to actually be able to kind of be in the room with them virtually, but know that it's your whole consortium and your peers who are truly in there doing that work with them.
Leslie, following up on that, we had a question about the feedback that you were just talking about. So is that the same for the nurse practitioner programs as well as for the MD/DO programs?
It is. So in essence, what we're doing now is we're looking at what would be a standard type of, early clinical learner. So whether you're a nurse practitioner or PA student, or an MD/DO student who's really heading into their earlier clinical years and clinical exposures. So frankly, for those programs also that have like longitudinal integrated curricula in which students are seeing patients pretty early, let's say in the medical curriculum, the intent is that students are getting the feedback framed the way that a preceptor in that Aquifer case, as it is now, would be providing them with that feedback. That being said, we're using very well-studied, published feedback generalized frameworks that isn't necessarily specific to what a student should be studying for their medical boards or a student should be studying for their nursing boards. It really is designed for early clinical learners practicing excellent clinical medicine and for the most part, a primary care format. And so doing that is kind of our early work. That being said, and Emily will probably get a little freaked out on me on this one, but we are beginning to look as we start to move through really focusing on our medical curricula initially. Our consortium contains nurse practitioner and PA educators as well. And so a key piece for us is to begin to bring them even more deeply into the AI work we're doing, and if necessary, adjust it to meet those curricula as well. So we feel pretty confident that what we're doing now, no matter your clinical discipline, it makes sense, but certainly over time want to make sure that we make tweaks along the way that may make some different references for different health professions disciplines as we go forward.
Thank you. Emily, we have a question about site content recommended for certain programs. So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm happy to tackle that. So again, we have there on occasion, I will own that sometimes I don't say health professions in the way I should, and I perhaps say medical education. We have nurse practitioners, PAs, and midwives on our boards, and in working with them throughout the years, they have consistently said, and I think this makes total sense as a clinician, the care is the same, the patients are the same, and our cases are written with our patients at the front of our description, at the front of our case. And so the cases are what's walking into your clinic, regardless of your degree. And so I feel strongly that the curriculum is developed to be deployed in all of the health profession schools that we work with. Our NP affinity group is currently working on a mapping project to help sort of maybe describe that a little differently for everyone. And so more to come on that. But I believe strongly that we're meeting the needs of all of our educators with this content.
Yeah, and I'll just double down on that too. What many people may not realize, we have PA nurse practitioners, as Emily talked about, in our affinity group, but also sitting on all of our boards. So this is why we feel confident in talking through, and people drawn from PAEA and NONF and other nationally recognized organizations, like we're doing with our MDDO colleagues, such that this is how we feel reasonably confident, to the extent that we can, that we truly are doing things that really broadly meet everybody's needs. And yet, as our platform builds itself out, may be able to emphasize certain things that are more relevant to certain disciplines than they are to others, or health professions and others, over the years as we move forward as well. We've been committed to that from day one, and we're continuing to do that as we move forward. But additional feedback welcome always from everybody of how we can do better.
Well, I think that's it for questions that we've seen come in. We've given people about 15 minutes to kind of put them in there, get them in as we go. We had a couple other like one-offs, recordings, pieces that kind of came in prior to this, so we can follow up directly with there. And if you ever have questions for us, feel free to email support, and we can always link you up to the right resource, the right person, send you towards the curricular consult option, and all the rest of it. So we will definitely follow up with all of you guys, and I'm going to pass this to Leslie for a final farewell.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you to my panelists today. And once again, thank you to everybody who took a little time out of your either early morning or lunch hour, or however it falls for you in your time zone today. I will also say, hard to believe, but we are already heading into our subscription renewal season for next year as well. So I highly encourage everybody to kind of really double down and lean into what you need this year with us this year, but keep your eyes open. We're going to begin to think about next year here relatively soon. In addition to our new website, we have a whole new, much improved content system for subscribing. So want to let everybody know that we really hope we have an improved subscription process for those of you who are a part of that process with us together too. So keep your eyes out, but in the meantime, please do stay in touch, reach out, grab curriculum consults, and think about really elevating to a curriculum partner level if you're not already. So thank you very much, everybody, and please enjoy the rest of your day.